You are now tuned in to the AO Podcast Network.
Yo, what's going on, world? This is season 3, big start to the season, episode 1. This is McGirt. I'm with
Shaq. We're in the beautiful Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada.
in Las Vegas in the beautiful Urban Necessities with a very special guest here today, Mr. Jaysse, 2Js himself.
What's going on, guys? How are you?
Beautiful, man. Pleasure. First of all, we want to thank you for having us, man, because, your store hasn't even opened yet. We're here right now. It's, what's today, Wednesday? Having a friends and family tomorrow. Grand opening Friday. Gave us the pleasure of being here today, man, so we appreciate you, bro.
I'm honored and humbled to have you guys here, man. Any friend of A's is a friend of mine. And, when he put me up on game on what you guys are working on and all the positive stuff that you're trying to put out there, it was a go right out the gate, bro. So
Perfect,
I'm
man.
happy to have you guys here, and I hope you guys enjoy your time while you're in Vegas.
Thank you,
Yeah, man, we're
definitely.
trying to. It's definitely a lot.
It's
a lot to take in.
I'm trying to not get too spicy early, but
Yeah, you got to be careful.
it's dangerous.
He
out
almost ended up drunk, and it was only like 5 o'clock. So
here. Nah, I'm good. We got PF change. It was late, but big shout out to Big A.
Yeah.
Who set this up for us. Shout out to Ariel Sharif Bardi himself. Appreciate you, bro.
So every episode we have a cadence. So around the cadence around this episode would be perseverance, right? Just because where you have gone and what you have went through to get here in Caesar's Palace, have your own store in Caesar's Palace, man, it's amazing. And we want our audience to definitely understand the process that it took and what it took to get here.
Correct.
I'll let you talk a little bit about like the backstory, and then of course we'll ask like questions in between. But definitely, just can you give us a little bit about the backstory of who you are?
I'm still trying to figure it out, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I know it looks like I have everything, as you guys, received the tour here a little while ago, and I said, I'm doing this and we're doing that, and we happen to be in this, the history here, right? Being from a boxing background with the family and all that, and all the monumental people that have had residencies here. There's just a lot of culture and history within these walls. And, I went through some hardships. I went through some things that I probably shouldn't have, but I allowed myself to go into these like holes that are a little bit deeper than the average person digs for themselves. Like most people, I was living outside of my means. I wasn't really being very respectful to people, to my own credit, my pockets. Like I just did everything like the stereotypical ignorant way that most people from of difficult upbringing or the hood, those things that you choose. And it's been a while now, but I'm originally from Jersey. I came out here because I have a daughter who actually graduates high school during our soft opening.
That's amazing.
It is, but it also sucks because dad's got to do what dad's got to do. You know what I'm saying? To be able to provide.
Is that your only one?
Yeah, man, I got 32 other ones that work here at Urban Necessities. You know what I'm saying? So, like, Urban Necessities has really made it difficult for me to want more children because
Correct.
I'm so invested into them and my existing family. Okay. But I tried to make it work with baby moms, couldn't make it work because I was a real knucklehead back then. And I came here with pretty much nothing. Thought I could put my little $20 in a slot machine, turn it into 100, and that I could flip that 100 into like some weed, and then I could break the weed down, and then I had it all planned out.
Was that 2001?
That was it was a while ago because Aaliyah's 18, so at that time Aaliyah was maybe like 6 months old, and I tried to make it work with her baby moms, but it didn't really work out. So I'm back on the street, and for a really long time I was scared to tell my story, especially when I opened the store because I didn't want people to think like, yo, this homeless dude is gonna like, he's asking me to like sell my shoes, but is he really gonna pay me? Is he organized enough to? So as I started growing the brand, and like I noticed more and more people were paying attention, like I really didn't feel comfortable with what the image was. Like, oh, I'm lying to all these people about like who I am, and it's not even about I need sympathy or I want people to look at me like, damn, I got a root for this dude because he came from that. It's just I knew that there was a lot of people that are looking at me like when you're in the sneakers or in a hoarding. This is hoarding on a whole nother level. Collecting on a whole nother level, right? Like, there's got to be some deeper issues with that person. Like, there's got to be some sort of disconnect that this allows you to get that peace of mind that lets you get away, right? Because when you're this consumed with art and sneakers and clothes, like, literally every conversation is about those things, right? Mm-hmm. So I wanted to speak to those people. I tell the story the way I tell the story because those people are the ones that need to hear it the most, you know? This isn't for the haves. This is for the have-nots, right? And really the whole message from day one is like, understand that when you look at something or someone or a brand that you think is at some level, right? Well, you only notice that brand when they're at whatever that level is that made you pay attention for a longer period of time, or to talk about it for anything or about anything. Like, normally that's 10, 20, 30 years into their business, right? So, like, I'm a boxing fan. I'm a NBA, I'm a basketball fan, football fan. When I look at, you know, the Floyds of the world with boxing, like, Floyd been boxing since he was pretty much started walking. Mm-hmm. He's been around the gym, right? He got 50 fights. But how many hours does he have sparring?
Yeah.
How many hours does he have looking at?
How many amateur fights?
Right. How many hours are invested in looking at how the other guy fights, even though towards the end of his career, he say he won't really be looking at.
Yeah.
He don't really care. But I, you know, how long before, how far into Floyd's career, whether that was amateur, not amateur, professional, before we was like, yo, he's really good. Yeah. Yeah. How long into his career? And that was at least 10, 15 joints. Yeah. Before you were like, yo, Floyd's actually pretty good, right? So we didn't see all the sacrifices, all the, you know, I live in Vegas. My man used to run from the top of the hill, or the top of the mountain where he lived in Henderson, all the way out to like where the common folk are and where the freeway is and back every night. Floyd used to come to the club and run back home from the club. And from Las Vegas Boulevard that's hours, bro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what I fell in love with, right? The process. And when I started looking at sneakers, and, you know, I went through my hardships where I lost my job, and, you know, I got evicted out of an apartment, and I took all these lumps, you know, I really replayed a lot of these moments in my life, and I tried to figure out what was the common denominator in the negative outcome. And it always had to do with my attitude and how I treated people, right? And when I focused on the things that I love, which was sneakers, fashion, art, music, culture. Culture, yeah. I was like, man, if I get an opportunity to do this, I have to treat people the way that I want to be treated. I have to treat people with respect. I have to focus on treating people better than I treat myself. And as long as I get the opportunity and I'm in business, at some point, those shoes that I thought were impossible to touch, those stores that I thought were impossible to make happen, felt attainable. I'm still, you know, trying to figure it out. I know that everybody looks at me like I'm not a mom and pop, but I'm still a mom and pop. Like, you know, I'm still sacrificing everything to try to make this work.
The fact that you're still here and attainable while people are here in the stores is big as well, even though you're this big, you know?
You know, I bring up A because 3 months ago, I think it was 3 months ago, he was here not even 2 months ago. He was here for, you know, we did a little bit of business. I sold him some of Fat Joe's shoes, right? Mm-hmm.
We helped him go through it.
We helped him go through it.
It's crazy, right? So much history. Joe wanted to throw them shoes away. And I'm like, Joe, I got it, the guy. I think, like, let me just get him out of here and get him to Vegas. And I think we could make the collection in these particular shoes that are very beat up or not in a condition you would want. Like, someone will appreciate the story, the history. And it'll put food on someone else's table, right? I brought him in here, and A brought up, he was like, bro, look at where you're at. Like, this is it. You made it. Like, this is the end of the race. And I was like, bro, I just started the race. This is the start.
Correct.
My 8 years reselling, right, and my 6.5 years in business lined me up to be ready, or as best as I possibly can, for one of the most, it could be one of the most monumental moments of my life.
Absolutely.
For me, my brand, my family, for the people that are making $1 with us, letting us make $1 for us. Like, this has never been done.
Would you say that hustler's mentality and that go-getter attitude has been instilled with you through all your positions, through the Apples, the AT&Ts, the Virgins, all those jobs that you had prior to even thinking about doing this? Like,
well, I think, yeah, it was recon work to learn how to interact with all walks of life. Right? I need to be able to talk to the most hood person and not feel like I'm scared or that they're going to take me for whatever. And he's got to feel like I understand them, him or her, and that I have their best interest. But at the same time, I got to be able to talk to that guy that ain't going to flinch when I tell him, yeah, my man, that's 200,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to learn how to curate and tell that story and make everyone feel it won. AT&T taught me how to do that with urgency.
You were top 3 in sales, right?
Top 3 percentile in sales for
sales.
AT&T in the whole United States. Like, I won all sorts of awards for them. I used to work at Sony in here. I was the first sales rep for Sony ever to do 7 figures in sales and warranties. Like, think about it. You never buy a warranty, bro.
Yeah.
I did 7 figures in a month with that.
Yeah.
Taking 3 buses to come to work for that.
Yeah.
Right? But, I still didn't appreciate. And I really had to be stripped of everything to appreciate everything that's been in front of me. My wife wanted me to open a store right when we met, and I didn't even want to do it. And then we split, and I had to find my way, and I caught my opportunities, and once we got the opportunity to open a store, I was like, yo, I can't do this without her, man. She got to be here.
Yeah.
That was in the Boulevard Mall, right?
Yeah, in the Bully. First store we opened was in a hallway that had been closed for 5 years. My store had been closed for 7 years. I didn't have no neighbors my first 6 months. But my first 3 months, I did $1 million.
You had $40 when you started.
Nah, it's wild, bro.
$40 when you started, and then
to be here at this moment. One thing I like that he said though, like for me personally, I had to hit the bottom. Like, I have a 5-year-old daughter, and I quit my job when she was 1, and I had to hit the bottom to really start appreciate the shit that I've been through. You know,
until your bottom fall out, you don't really like. There's no fear, right? And it's another part too of my story. Like, I threw a lot of my family for a loop. Because when I was homeless, I was very scared to tell, I didn't even tell my mom, all right? So when she heard me first on social media, like, yo, Jay, you was homeless? When? And I was like, you remember when I'd be like, all right, I'll call you at this time, on this day, and you'd be like, yo, you good? Like, that was me on the street, calling you from payphones, but I was terrified to tell you I'm homeless because I didn't want you to see me going through that, and I didn't want the bailout. Like, I'm already old, I think old enough to the point where I shouldn't be living with my mom.
How old were you at that point?
So this was when Aaliyah was 6 months old. So that's 18 years ago.
In 2001-ish, right?
Yeah, so, no, it's 18 years, so it's 02, 03, around there. I know I've told this story and I've had my dates, but it was literally when Aaliyah was 6 months old. So, I would call her, tell her I'm good, but I'm really sneaking in hotels and trying to shower there. And if I came up, like the Wild Wild West, which is off of Tropicana, next to that In-N-Out, like I used to sleep there, like, because it was only $20 a night to thing. So, you know, she was blown away and she was really mad, but, you know, I just couldn't tell her.
When did that switch flip? And then you were like, all right, now I know what my hustle is. Like, you've always had a hustle, but when did that become like your hustle to say, all right, I'm taking this from this level to the next level?
You know, I think it's when I started getting a few followers. And I really literally had a few followers. Like when the day I opened Urban, I think I had like 3,000 followers on Instagram. And it didn't matter what I couldn't grow it anything more than that. But like when people started paying attention a little bit, and I was getting a little bit of comments and a little bit of like lack of understanding and like a lot of negative criticism, that's kind of when I was like, yo, I think this is probably the way to go. If I'm ruffling this many feathers and I ain't even really doing nothing, like this is probably something I need to stay at. And then the other part too was, you know, when I was, you know, towards the end of my retail, like working for somebody else, now trying to work for myself, when I stopped like really getting sick, because, you know, I was having a lot of seizures back then. That's kind of what made like why I lost my job to an extent. Like they didn't fire me, but they kind of let me go because
Health conditions.
Yeah, but it was really because the way corporate America, big businesses work. It's when you're regardless of your output, if your cost for that output is too high, they're gonna find a replacement, and there's always somebody that's down to do your work for less. There's always, like, bro, I'm a perfect example of that. I'm doing consignment at 10%. Yo, I should be at 30, 40% in here, right? It's the lowest consignment rate in the country. So when I stopped getting sick and I started like really having fun and really meeting all these people, and then like, you know, I'm selling shoes to certain people where I'm like, man, I never thought I'd meet that person. Boxers to basketball players to rappers to this and that. Like, I was very starstruck at the beginning. And I also put out over 100 applications, and no one was picking up the phone, because obviously I'd done some things aesthetically that probably weren't at that time
especially then,
especially they weren't the smartest decisions, and I was either underqualified or overqualified for what I was doing, and I wasn't making no money under 2J's. Like I had a couple licks where, you know, I made a couple dollars, but it wasn't like this is like living. But that's really when I was like, yo, you know, when I started recognizing I wasn't getting sick, and I started recognizing I was enjoying this, a conversation that I had with someone when I worked at AT&T really kind of came back to me, and it was, yo, you know, I had a lot of business owners that I worked with, and like there was a common thread, every single one, regardless of business. And I stopped focusing on money. I started focusing on what I enjoyed.
Your passion.
And then as time goes on, it started providing for me in a way that I never thought, right? So again, it comes back kind of to like the Floyd story. Mm-hmm. So let's bring up LeBron. I bring up LeBron a lot. LeBron's my favorite player. I think LeBron's body of work, if you remove a name and you just look at stats, it's been a pretty impressive career, right?
And that's amazing coming from a Knicks fan.
But I mean,
the guy, man, LeBron is different.
For the record, yeah. There's, you know, we PR-wise, we don't really know what we're doing over there just yet, but it's turning around.
Yeah, it's turning around.
You know, but again, with LeBron, you got a guy, started playing basketball when he was a kid, right? A very young kid. Got pretty good in AAU and before high school. High school, he was the man.
Yeah.
But we didn't really start acknowledging, yo, he's really special till he's 8-9 years in the league. My man's been playing for his whole life, like literally his whole life. And it's just now, at the tail end of his career, that we're really saying, yo, he's probably top 3
of all time.
He's 36. My man been playing since he's like 3.
Yeah.
So again, I'm looking at stuff like that, and I'm like, it's gonna take me a little bit of time, but this is what I want to do, and I'm gonna be alright at it. You know.
But do you feel like you're so humble that you don't see it, but from the eyes of us, the people that are in the culture, we feel like you're that already.
Nah, I ain't done nothing, bro.
You don't see that though.
You know, like, look, I'll say this. Like, the story is, again, like, not the forget the homeless part. The fact that I started and kept going is what's appreciated. I understand that there's a lot of people that if you give them the same street, the same walk, the same path, at every single point of my growth, someone would have stopped. But my intention was never to me be good. My intention is always, I have to improve the state of the culture. No one in the industry is taking the steps to make it better for everyone, right? My first video on YouTube, I mean, you guys researched me. What was that, 2013, 14?
Yes.
When I'm crying in a U-Haul?
Yes.
Like, with no money in my pocket, not even knowing that I'm opening a store, wasn't even opening a store, pulling shit out of my ass talking about I'm opening a store.
Correct.
But when in that conversation, my timing with this lighting is, I'm sorry.
You're good.
But in that conversation, I recognize that I can't stop till I change everything.
Your perseverance.
Right? And if you look, a lot of the things that, I don't want to take credit for things that I caught opportunities with, but if you look, a lot of the things that we've done over the years have become the standard. And I said that 8 years ago.
Yes.
But it took me 8 years to make it the standard.
Right.
And this pushes the entire culture into a whole state of, as business owners, I don't even know if I could get to that. Yeah. Good. If you're this scared, if you're scared and you feel like you can't do this, replicate this, or make this better, you shouldn't be doing it.
Set the standard, people.
If it angers you, frustrates you, motivates you, inspires you, yo, that dude's 3 times my age, and I got 3 times the lifespan left in me, I'm going to be way past that dude. Then I served my point. I served my purpose. That was my intention with the game. I wanted to make it better. It was never about, I figured if I take care of everybody, and everybody became literally everybody, 30,000 plus consigners, all the people that we've motivated and inspired to go resell, start their own businesses, changing all walks of life, regardless of age group, color, like region. Like, yo, this shit's beautiful, bro. That's what I'm proud about. Fuck this store. I don't care about the store, bro. This is a pain in my ass. Like, seriously, this is a massive headache. And it's scary, and I'm literally investing money I have, don't have, probably money I'll never recoup, and I don't care, because I'm gonna continue to have other opportunities that I don't have to take money out of this to be able to generate. And I've forced myself to become a more efficient reseller, a more effective reseller. I built my credit. When I started this, my credit was like worse than what my living standards were. You know what I'm saying? So, but your boy got good credit.
Hey, shout out to credit.
Hey, you need credit, especially in this day and age.
You need everything. But yo, a 13-year-old taught me that.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm humble because like at the end of the day, yo, anybody could take this from me, bro. And when you're this dependent on the community to support you, when you don't have corporate sponsors, you're not a big box store, you don't have the cosigns from everyone and their mother, you have to take it. And that's what I'm doing. I'm taking what I feel our culture should have. And I feel that I'm a great ambassador and that my staff and my team and my brand can hold it down for the next however long it has to hold it down till somebody comes and fucking knocks us out the park. That's it.
You're special, bro.
Nah.
No. I want to give you your flowers, bro. You're special because how many people, and the answer is 0, how many people do you know can go into Mayor's house, Fat Joe's house, but purchase their collections bring them here.
Let me stop you. I didn't purchase them. They were consigned.
Okay, I apologize. Consign their collection. Even that, go into their homes, consign their collections. The individual lets you consign their collections. How many people can say that, and how many people probably wanted to do that?
Oh, everybody would love that opportunity. But I'm gonna tell you right now, anybody could have done it.
But
as long as they did the work.
But they
fuck with you for a reason.
But they fuck with you. They've said it.
That
yeah, my name's good out here. Like,
and it's more so your story and your humbleness. It brings you a long way as well.
Well, look, Mayor's that dude for the record.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mayor is somebody that I met at a sneaker con. I had been following like everybody else, fanboying out, and I'm like, man, this little short Puerto Rican dude, this little fat chubby Puerto Rican dude from the Bronx is like, he's with the shits when it comes to the sneaker thing. And when I met Mayor was still in that, I'm a bend shoes. I don't care about everybody else with this reselling thing. I'm not with this reselling thing. Like, it's corny. Like, I don't understand. They go get a job. Mayor. Right? And so I see him at the sneaker con in Fort Lauderdale. A couple months later, Crep opens a store called Presented By in London, and they flew, their friends, people that they respect, people that break $1 with them or vice versa. And I'm being walked to my table where we're going to have dinner because they rented out this big banquet hall. And they send me next to Mayor, and the first thing I say is, I'm like, yo, you think because I'm Puerto Rican, I'm supposed to, like, all Puerto Ricans get along? I don't know this dude. Like, but I was doing it to bust his chops. He starts laughing. We're cracking jokes. Like, this is, like, right around when Instagram stories was coming out and all this other. We're on each other's Instagram stories, cracking jokes. It was like we had known each other for 100 years. And after, we're walking back to the hotel, and we stop at the bar. Mayor don't really drink. Let me, bear with me 1 second. Look who's calling. But yeah, so we're at this dinner, we're walking back, and we go to this bar, and Mayor's like, yo, what's your story, bro? Like, why are you reselling? Like, and I'm explaining, like, I had no choice. This was the only door that was the only path I could walk through. And, afterwards, he's like, man, I didn't know resellers could really have stories like that. And I'm in the hood mall. Right? And shortly after that, now I talk to Mayor, like, in passing at events and this and that. And one day he's like, yo, Jay, I want to get rid of my shoes. It's over. I done lost so much weight. They don't fit, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, what you have? He's like, bro, Jay, I got at least $1 million in Air Force Ones. This was like 3-4 years ago. And I'm like, family, I love you, but don't nobody want them shits. They're fucking Air Forces. Air Forces are dead right now, my guy. Like, real shit.
Yeah.
I told him, I was like, yo, these shits are dead. Nobody, like, I'm not the guy. I can't help you.
Correct.
But I know people at Flight Club. I know people at Stadium. I know people at SneakerCon. I know people at StockX. I know people at GOAT. Like, yo, if you got that many pairs and you got this type of a following and you've done all these things that I've seen or you've told me about, my man, your shit needs to become like the Barnum and Bailey's traveling show with your shoes, and the story needs to be told and this and that. And everybody I talked to was like, yeah, that's cool, but it's a logistical nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, but we're not going to his house to grab it.
Correct.
Right? So it was a dud. Like, and I was like, yo, bro, I don't have the following. Don't nobody fuck with Air Forces. I don't even have the space, bro. So 3 years pass, 3-4 years pass. COVID happens. Everybody's got to get creative and figure out how all these moves that we used to make, all of a sudden we stopped and we're going in different directions. This wheel fell off, that wheel falls off. I lose my partnership. Well, I don't lose, but we amicably split. Bear with me, I'm sorry. Look, I'm still figuring out how to sell people 2 left feet. I sold Robert Foe 2 left shoes today, apparently.
What shoe was it?
Undefeated Air Max. Man.
Wait, the 97s?
My man spends 14 bands in here, and I figure out a way to sell him 2 left feet.
Were those the undefeated 97s?
Yeah.
You have a whole story behind it.
He sent you the picture. It was a 2 shoe.
Wasn't that the shoe you was
You
like?
can't make this type of shit up. This is This is what I'm trying to tell you. This is my life in a nutshell.
That was the Complex concert.
Yeah, that was a movie too.
That was a movie.
So COVID. I'm no longer with American Eagle. I have to disable my website. The store's not running.
Can we get a brief background on that?
American Eagle deal?
Yeah, that
Mayor made it happen.
Okay.
If it wasn't even for Mayor, I wouldn't have even had the conversations with the people that got me. If it wasn't for Mayor, I wouldn't have seen the ladder that I had to climb to get to that conversation.
Because I wanted to always know, like, what made you choose, or what brought you in? Yeah, exactly. American Eagle out of
7 years in a row. I'm going to Agenda, Magic and Agenda. I'm trying to talk to brands, learn how it works, how things move, trying to get cool in the urban necessities. Excuse me. And for 7 years, I'm being curbed 24/7. All right? So now, year 8 comes around, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go. And then last minute, I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go. Mm-hmm. So I'm getting curved again. I see Mayor walking with Joe, and I'm like, man, if I'm walking with them, somebody's going to pay attention to me. So Mayor used to be a brand ambassador, or the guy that Doc connected for TACMA for a little bit.
Okay.
TACMA is an acronym for They Could All Kiss My Ass.
Okay.
Right? It wasn't about telling people to kiss your ass. It was about seeking no approval to get done and just getting shit done.
Yes.
So he's like, sit down, tell these guys the story. So I tell him my story. So the sales rep is like, man, you gotta tell that to my boss. Tell the sales rep the story. Sales rep's like, yo, tell my boss my story. I tell the boss the story. Boss is like, yo, you gotta tell the owner. I'm like, all right, well, where the fuck's the owner?
Where the owner at?
Yo, he's at the Wynn in one of the villas. Just go over there. I am so uncultured. I ain't never seen no shit like the Wynn Villa.
That sounds OD.
No, it's like $15,000 to $25,000 a night, depending on the villa.
We from Deltona, Florida.
Yeah, I get it. Well, I'm from a neighborhood that you could walk in and out of in,
Per thing, boy, right?
like in a very small amount of time.
It's from where Eddie's from.
Oh, okay.
So I go in there, and my man comes down like some steps. He's just wearing, like just regular. Like I was like, wait a minute, this is like, nah, this dude runs that brand.
Yeah.
Like it didn't
correlate.
connect.
It didn't click. Yeah.
So he's like, yo, all right, check this out. He didn't even have me tell the story to him. He just put a camera in front of me and was like, tell the story, and walked off. And then next thing you know, like, he takes that, they edit it. He asked me, yo, can we do, and the Agenda's rolling around again, and he's like, can we just do our version of Agenda in your store, bring our merch and, da-da-da-da. Yo, they sold out. He got all these brands that had never, and it was based off my cosign pushing it.
Yeah.
Right, so we did a couple of joints together, like little pieces of collabs and this and that. I did some stuff that donated all the proceeds to Puerto Rico. Like, I did a lot of stuff to help Puerto Rico.
During the hurricanes?
Yeah, during the hurricanes.
Gotcha.
And all that other stuff. And we're friends now. We're good. We're constantly checking in on each other. His name's Jeffrey Schottenstein.
Okay.
By the way, and one day, Jeffrey calls me, and is like, "How you been? What's going on? Da da da." And the conversation jumps into like, "How do you fix retail?" I'm sitting here talking to somebody that I didn't even really know, but I know is loaded. My man's family is one of the 30 richest families in the United States. God damn. All right, so it's not like normal money. Mm. And he's like, how do you fix retail? So I'm sitting there, like, legit processing. Do I tell this man or do I not? Is he gonna take my ideals and vision and execute, or is he down to help? And yo, for the record, like, if you got an idea and you can't piece it together, like, without telling someone, you're never gonna get anywhere. Mm-hmm. And even when you tell them, 99% of the time when you tell somebody, they don't even care about what you just told them, right? Like, literally, that's what I've learned through the 8 years of this, right? I tell him, he's like, yo, I need you to come to Boston. So I'm like, all right, cool. He's like, I'm gonna fly you and your wife out. All right, cool. Next thing you know, I'm in Boston. Next thing you know, I'm in this high rise that, yo, they don't even look like this in the movies, B. Like, it was just crazy, right? Then I walk in there, I ain't never really been around Jewish people, because there's not really Jewish people where I'm from. Not that I got anything, like, I rock with Jewish people heavy.
You just never seen anything.
You just never seen it.
never been within, like, I ain't never been in their house type stuff, let alone
doing business with them.
OD dummy type bread. Like,
Yeah.
They got rabbis and they're blowing the horns and all this other stuff.
You looking like,
they
what
got,
the fuck is going on?
See the size of this right here? This was their backyard. Like, they had a backyard in a high rise. So yeah, we're kicking it up in this like thing, and we're having like dinner.
The rabbis going crazy.
Yeah, no, yo, it's like a whole nother world, bro. Then there's like other units, and they could look down, and they're looking down at us because they're making like they're making noise, bro. Like they're just going and I'm like, oh my god,
this sounds insane.
yo. Yeah. So there's people looking down. They're looking down, and I'm like, oh my god, these people are gonna probably think I'm the drug dealer, right? Because I don't look nothing like any of the people. I'm in there, Mets hat in the middle of Boston, like shorts. It's crazy. So after we break bread and I meet the rabbis and this and that and like the assistants and this and that, at 3 a.m, Jeffrey decides to call his dad, Jay Schottenstein. Jay's in Cleveland hanging out with Jayze and Beyonce and is still awake at 3 a.m.
This is Pops.
This is Pops.
Gotcha.
We talking generational wealth.
No, it's OD, but they're out the mud. Like when they first came out here, they was like with the horse and like carriage and like selling shoes out of a carriage with horses pushing it through the streets. Like they're from out the mud, bro. They smart.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, Dad, I'm tired of telling you about this dude. He's done this, that. We got to help him, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not asking you more. I'm not telling you. Like, I'm telling you, Dad, we got to. And I'm sitting there like, yo, what is going on? Right? Pops is like, yeah, I'm here with Jay-Z and Beyonce, but, like, just tell him to come to New York. Well, when do you want him to come to New York, Dad? Tomorrow's cool.
What?
So we on a plane straight to New York from Boston. Now I'm going to Four Seasons. I ain't never been to no Four Seasons, bro. The only Four Seasons I know are the actual Four Seasons, right? Summer, winter, spring, fall. Yeah, like that's what I know. I'm walking in, there's the butlers opening doors, like we're going into elevators that are taking me into like straight, like, nah,
it's insane.
Bro. And then we walk in, and we bust a left and then a right through this like massively long highway. This unit is like thousands of square feet. And there's like a straight like Knights of the Round Table vibe going on. The table consists of every and anybody that can make or is required to make the decisions for American Eagle, right? The head guy for building, the architect, the lead design guy, the VP of the company, like every like region, and they're like, all right, red pill, blue pill. Red pill is we figure out how we help you a little bit, and you keep doing your thing. Or you figure out how much of your business you want to sell, and we really take this to where you want to go. What do you want to do? I knew right off the bat, like I don't even got to play no games with you. I'll tell you, let's go. This is what I want to do. But they're like, take some time. They didn't even let me talk. They're like, take some time. Those are your 2 offers. Get back to us. Or we'll reach out to you in a week or 2. My wife and I come downstairs. We're now walking down, Madison over there. And I'm like, I'm just blown away because I don't even know how the fuck I got there. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't even understand how I got to a point where I'm having conversations with people that don't talk to people like us. Like, and it's not that they don't, because they genuinely do. They're amazing human beings, and they rock with our kind and our colors way harder than you would ever think. And I knew what I had to do. I knew what I wanted to do. And I took that decision, right? We did that decision. I still don't have no regrets. American Eagle allowed me to learn how to conduct business. It taught me how to coach. I was a really shitty manager. I'm still a pretty shitty manager, but they've helped me in so many different aspects of business that I'm a million times more efficient, smarter, just everything is better since I learned how American Eagle gets down and how they work, right? So yeah, I take the decision. They teach me everything. COVID happens, and I'm happy to be here. I caught the opportunities. COVID allowed a lot of people in business to take those ideas, dreams, and aspirations and figure out a different creative way to get to that.
Yeah, it forced you to have
it gave me all the time I didn't have. Dude, 2019, I was in my house for less than 2 weeks. I was on 125 flights. I went to New York 18 different times for 3 to 18 days at a time. Goddamn. Right? It was there was times where I went from Vegas to New York, from New York back to Vegas, Vegas to Australia, back to Vegas, then 2 days later, China and back. It was crazy. There was times where I'm flying in, but I'm at the airport telling my wife, yo, go ahead and do me a favor and just throw whatever you want in there for clothes, but I need clothes for 6 days. And literally meet me at the airport with that bag. Just going to the airport to get a bag. It's a different type of, there's a lot of people that would have been yo, fuck this shit. You know what I'm saying? But again, if I don't do it, someone else will.
Absolutely.
And that's, I get a phone call from these guys here at Simon Properties, and they're like, yo, we want you here. And I was like, man, I don't know. I tried to talk to you guys a couple times and it didn't. Well, that's a different regime. Well, I honestly don't know if I'm in a position. I honestly don't know if you have something that I got to run it my way. There's things that I want to do that I'm not known for, that I'm going to be known for, that I want to do. And if I'm going to do it here, this is how it has to be done. Well, talk to us. What do you need? I started pulling shit out of my ass. I need 15,000 square feet. Well, yo, we got 18,000. I'm like, oh, shit.
So
okay.
It's they're calling your bluff in a way.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. They were, 1,000,000%. But, yo, they pretty much offered me the store. Actually, they offered me 3 stores right out the gate without even looking at my financials, because they know what I'm about to do. After I had that conversation with them, they you going somewhere we ain't used to seeing people go.
Bro, I would say God has a plan for you, bro. Loves you, because just from that first Boulevard store, for you getting the opportunity, from what you said, that you didn't initially have to pay anything when you first initially started, to now people wanting you in a location.
Nah, it's a
different. That's bro, that's godsend.
It's I'm back independent now, so right. So it's I love rap. We all love rap. There was a time you wanted to get on a major.
Yeah.
And everything was about getting on the major, but you were majorly getting fucked.
Yeah.
And a major label is what he's talking about.
Now it's
independent all day. Yeah.
And then distribution and masters and this and that and this and that. So the game's been right there in front of us for everything, forever.
Correct.
That's what we're doing.
I got a quick question for you, not to veer off that, but me and A were just chopping about this whole trip, and he was saying how he met you, and he was talking about, yo, this nigga will come to SneakerCon and just clear shit out. And I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? How important is SneakerCon in this journey?
Oh, it's everything.
Yeah, because we went to
think about
Miami.
I wouldn't have had the platform to act as ignorantly as I did over a course of 6 years that made people say that. Who is this dude?
Yeah.
And then so it's I came in creating content about this type of stuff. That's probably hold on one sec. Thank you. So where were we?
We were at SneakerCon, and you were explaining the platform.
Yeah.
Ignorance.
So I'll tell you, when I first started going to SneakerCon, I was sneaking into SneakerCon.
Really?
Because all right, so they were like, nah, you're bullshitting, Jay. This isn't true. But
yeah, it doesn't
then,
even
like,
sound true.
I went back, no, and not that I was sneaking in, because they did agree to that.
Oh, okay.
But how I had to get to that. So I come up with the concept of the heat lockers. I'm like, yo, I think I got this idea that's going to change the sneaker game. I'm the guy that started it here in the United States. Like, what's up? Can I bring one? Mm-hmm. Can I come? Sent them the email 35 times. Mm-hmm. And I got one reply, finally, after 35 emails. Yo, my man, don't bring your machines and don't bother coming to the show either. And I was like, the fuck? Okay. Mm-hmm. No, I can't go to SneakerCon. I'm not cool with SneakerCon. I'm going to go to all these small little events. Mm-hmm. We start going to small little events, and it's not enough, right? The platform of the store is not enough. Like, I'm doing all this Willy Wonka stuff and doing skits and, you know, like, it just wasn't enough engagement. I start asking other vendors to give me vendor passes so I could now sneak into sneaker cons, and I'm going with 3,000, 5,000. I ain't got no money.
Yeah.
I'm the first guy that if he had a lot of a shoe, he showed you all of that shoe. Mm-hmm. Before me, before that time, if someone had 100 of a shoe, they only showed you one and then told you the sizes and didn't tell you if they had multiple of the sizes. So I'm doing this more and more and more, scaling. I think I spent $35,000 at one. Mm-hmm. And Alan, the owner of SneakerCon's like, yo, my man, this is starting to become a safety hazard. You need to slow down. Why don't you just, if you come, I'll give you a tape. And it went from there. And then it just started getting crazier and crazier.
So now you're pulling up in semi-trucks.
Now we go with 53-foot trailers.
Yeah,
and now it's like, I got to take your whole table. This next video is going to be pure comedy. So it's really helped me with growing the brand and building the awareness. Mm-hmm. Doing that work, doing the grunt work has really helped me kind of learn the system and speed it. Mm-hmm. And just as much as we're making impact with the store experience, I think that we have some products and services that are going to come out that are going to change the online experience too. So I give a lot of credit to SneakerCon for who I am and my brand. Mm. And I'll never say no to them. I'll go to SneakerCon till I'm in my grave. Mm.
SneakerCon to you is what you are to Ariel. Because Ariel talks about you so highly.
He's told me he's going to get the leg tie. He's going to get your logo.
Yeah, he told me and it bugs me out.
Yeah.
So SneakerCon to you
and he looked at me with the most serious face. He was like, nah, McGirt. He's like, yo, I will get that. He said, I'll get Urban Necessities and SneakerCon logo on me, and I'll be happy with it forever.
It's literally it's a trickle effect, right? Like, so how they helped you out, you helped him out, and now we're here because of him.
Yeah.
So it's a trickle effect of, he said it earlier, my brother said it earlier, like, when you're good to people, good things come back to you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but we learned that so late in life, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm almost 30.
I'm 29, and like we were just talking, like I was telling all of them, I was like, yo, we're staying at the Cosmo. We got a terrace at the Cosmo, and I was like, yo, like 2-3 years ago.
Rich.
I was like, yo, 2-3 years ago, I was so broke. I always think about like a moment that I have with my daughter where she was like asking me for milk, and I didn't have no money for milk, like to pour in the cereal, and I just started like breaking down crying. And like that was the moment I was like, I got to change this shit, and I never want to feel this again.
Yeah, we gotta have that.
You know? So I was like, when I get on that terrace, I'm probably gonna cry. I was like, yo, I'm probably gonna cry later.
I feel you, because I've done that. You can't make any of this shit up.
No, at all.
You can't, like, yo, y'all are gonna leave here and be like, yo, this dude Jay, yo, bro, he's still like, nah. My man had Everlast calling, complaining, and crying, screaming at front desk people. Then he had Everlast moving boxes. We was moving boxes, like
Sriracha and Hot Sauce boxes.
My man that sells sneakers brought me, like, I'm moving 1,000 boxes of Sriracha, bro, like.
And then you sold 2 left feet.
2 left shoes.
To somebody that spent $14,000 in the store.
It's been crazy. And then you got your whole friends and family event tomorrow, so you have to get ready for that pretty much.
And I'm filming a rap video.
Can you tell us the artist?
Yeah, it's Static Selector, Terminology, and Bun B.
Bun B.
Who, here, it gets funnier and crazier. Monster's filming the video. Terminology's people are editing the video. And Bun B is the one that came up with the whole concept of we need to go to Vegas and shop at Urban Necessities to get sneakers, ice cream, a haircut, and tattoos. And I ain't never had the UGK logo tatted, but I might do it at Urban Necessities.
That's fire.
That's fire.
Right?
Yeah.
And then...
Is this an exclusive?
Yeah.
So then, Pete, Terminology, like 4 hours ago, sent me the song.
Uh-huh.
That's mixed by Static. And it's like shout-outs to Jaysse and Urban Necessities all over, like both verses, bro. Mm-hmm. I'm hearing Bun B and Terminology say my name and my brand in a record, like, and then you come in here to film the video for it.
Correct, yeah.
And get tattoos and haircuts and ice cream.
In the store that you built after all these years.
You can't make it up.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
Literally, still, right now, even at this point where I'm supposed to be at the peak of this mountain, I'm blood, sweat, and tears more than ever before.
Yeah.
Where do you feel like personally, what do you want to do next personally? Not so much brand-wise.
Not Urban Necessities.
Not Urban Necessities.
You.
But Jay Lopez, like, what do you want to do personally?
I'd like to figure out how to be a better husband. I'd like to figure out how to be a better dad. I'd like to figure out how I get more time for my family. I'd like to figure out the conundrum of sneaker consignment or consignment in general in the next 3 years. I'd like to turn this into a $500 million business. And then I got to go find the next problem that's going to make me lose my shit for the next 10 years. I have to, like, I can't sit still. Mm-hmm. But I also understand how social media and sneakers and culture works, and culture doesn't let you be in the culture forever. You hold on, you ride it for as long as you can, and you got to let go right before you know you ain't got it no more.
Mm. The white hot space.
You got to let go at some point, because if I let go when it's too late, you're going to be like, yo, my man, like, what are you holding on for? But if I let go before I'm supposed to let go.
But the brand you're building will be forever, so essentially.
If this plays out the way that I think it will, this will be here way beyond my years.
So you essentially will make your imprint not only with us, but culture forever. Like, you're playing forever. You're no longer in that space no more. Like, so saying that you have to let go is essentially, maybe you feel like that, but as far as like the brand and what you built,
it's gonna go on.
It's gonna go on. It's gonna be here for forever. So
I don't want to be looked at as fat Elvis Presley. Mm. That's still out here performing shows.
But Elvis Presley didn't have a record label. That's what that would be like.
But Elvis Presley had the world.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
You know, so like, I don't want to be Elvis Presley, bro.
But I feel like you're more so in that Jay-Z aspect, that space, right? Like, people could say, listen,
my bank account, I'm not even in, like, listen to me, and I know that it's not you're not measuring off of money.
No, yes, I'm not.
But nah, I ain't even started. You're comparing me to someone who revolutionized and is the format.
But that's what you're doing, though.
I'm trying to accomplish. I'm not there yet. I'm on the first page. I'm on the first page of some shit that's got 1 million chapters. Like, high key.
Yeah.
I can't be compared to that. There's no way.
For the kids that see you, though, for the adults that see you, though, that's the kind of ideology they think about when they see what you're building. To think that you came from nothing, bro. You know what I mean?
We all came from nothing. We all came from one. Here's yeah, I get it. My wow is a little different than the average wow, right? But we all start with the least amount of knowledge, the least amount of support, the least amount of revenue, the least amount of everything. It's just, there's one thing that's the same in all of it. You started, and you didn't stop. That's really the only common thread. That should be the only thing that's focused on. It shouldn't matter if you came from, spoon-fed, mud. Like, it don't matter. A win is a win, and you can't discredit a win because I started 12 floors below you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same win.
Correct.
It's just some stories sound a little different, or somebody could relate more because I look more, or sound more, or act more. You know what I mean? Like, that's really the only. It's all the same though.
So I was watching one of your vlogs, and when you went to Boston, you were talking to a gentleman that worked for Concepts, right?
Yeah.
And then you also went to another gentleman's house who had like
Term.
exactly, who had a whole bunch of like a museum of music. So you working at Virgin at one time, right? One point in time in life.
Yeah.
The question I had was, if you had to pick, you being a music connoisseur, right? You had to pick a specific album that reflected your life. What would that be?
That's a real fucked up question. Man.
Man, you know how bad I've been wanting to ask you this? Like,
Yo, there's so many albums I love that, like, they never get old. I think one of the best gems I ever found while working at Virgin, which was a long time ago, Self-Scientific, Return. I don't know if you ever heard of that album.
No.
Never.
Chase Infinite, DJ Khalil. So back then, there was no internet like there is internet now. There was no Instagram. There was no Twitter. There was no MySpace. There wasn't none of that. There was, you had a cool album cover, or someone co-signing you on the record, on the TV or the radio station. That's what you had. I had 50% off working at a record store that had miles of different genres of every music. So literally blowing my entire paycheck walking up and down aisles looking for cool album covers. And I was really intrigued by this one album, and it's amazing. Like, I listen to that album to this day. The first Jedi Mind Tricks album I listened to a lot, and coincidentally, my boy is on that album, B.A. Baracus, who is Al Uppercut on Instagram, which is one of the coldest barbers in the whole game. Mm-hmm. And I used to go to school with that dude. And I didn't even know I didn't know he was part of the original Jedi Mind Tricks till like 20 years later.
It's crazy.
Because I just got lost in translation. Yeah. That was an album. I mean, Chino XL, Poison Pen. Like, I was really into like just all sorts of different. Like, it wasn't just one genre, man. But to say an album that's me, I don't know, man. Like, that's such a tough question, you know?
Yeah.
I have a playlist. So I started a playlist for the store that I've shared a couple times on social media, where one night, and not being able to sleep, I was just like, I'm going to make a new playlist. I'm going to just take every song I like off of every album.
Yeah.
Right? But I started with the very first album, and then I worked my way up to present day. And I'm currently at 4,000 plus songs on this one playlist. Think about how much time that is. Damn. How many albums I've had to listen to have 4,000 songs on a playlist.
And but it's crazy that you say that, because that means they all mean something to you. They all.
A lot of them I have memorized word for word. Like, I'm kind of bugged out. Like,
you're really a living embodiment of like culture, bro, in general.
Nah, but I love this shit, bro.
This shows how much you love it.
Exactly.
I also just want to touch like just your takes, as you obviously showed us the tour of the store, but the people that are listening that are not here, that are going to see this footage later, just like everything you incorporated into it. Like, you spoke about how you enjoy tattoos even more than sneakers, you know? So can you just touch on that? I wanted to be a
tattoo artist so damn bad.
Yeah.
I used to go to all these damn conventions. Like, I love that culture. And like Robert Foe, who was in here earlier, mm-hmm. I've known for 12 years. I've seen him kind of do the same thing in his realm, but he's killing it. Like, he's in a whole nother universe. They have way better margins than I'll ever see. Yeah. Right? He's been able to change the lives of hundreds of people. Like, taking people out of really crappy environments, teaching them art, and teaching them how to do the art. Right? I used to be like the tattoo, like, equivalent of the gym rat. Every break I have from AT&T, every day off that I have from AT&T, I was inside Robert's shop, mm-hmm. learning talking about tattoo artists, looking at bad tattoos, like literally just cracking jokes about bad tattoos and like, hey, why do you use that gun? Why do you shade this way? Like literally like really consumed with, and I was like a sponge. Any artist that he talked about, I instantly started following. I instantly became a fan of, and it got to the point where he pretty much offered me a job right when I opened the store. And it was, do I go work for one of the coolest people I've ever met in my life in an industry that I love, or do I do sneakers? Now I gotta work for myself, even though I really fucking want to do that.
Yeah.
You know? And we always talked about like, man, it would be cool to have something like this, and
blend
here
it
we
too.
are.
Yeah.
I get this opportunity, and I tell these guys, hey, this is what I need to do. And I was like, bro, you the homie. You the first one that really taught me anything. Come on, bro. Let's stake our flags right here. Let's go. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. And then, like everybody else that's under that umbrella, I had no idea was under that umbrella. But I've already, like, I've known Sleep 12 years. I didn't know that they got the same manager.
Yeah.
You know, like I've been following Duffer for years, but I didn't know they had the same manager, right? And then everybody else, they all got the same manager. So, but I've known all these dudes and had interactions with all these dudes, and now all these dudes, which is literally hundreds of award-winning artists from all over the world, that I've already had some sort of interaction from me going to conventions all across the country, because I have award-winning work on my legs that I've shown off, and like I've won, 6 awards with my left leg, a couple with this leg, a couple with what I got on my chest and stomach, and like I used to be like the equivalent of like a roadie groupie type, like, you know what I'm saying? Like
a poster boy.
I was literally traveling around the country without a dime to my name, following all these guys that I thought were living the life. And now, here we are.
Yeah.
So basically you're saying when you have a passion for something, you specifically, like, you just
Consume
you
yourself.
consume yourself with it.
I'm excessive, though. I'm very excessive. I mean, you have to be.
Does that change over time? Like, so you may have been into sneakers, and then, of course, we know you're into tattoos.
Does a tree branch always grow in the same direction?
Fair enough.
You can't, like, yes, go, consume, learn, but don't disrespect or take for granted all the other things that are right in front of you, because you never know. Like, when I met Joni, like, she was like, yo, when we started talking and dating, she's like, I like sushi. I can't date somebody that don't eat sushi. I was like, oh, I love sushi. Kidding me? Let's go right now. I couldn't stand it, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I was terrified of eating it. First 7 times we ate sushi, I threw up.
First 7.
First 7.
God,
and then,
man.
there was a couple months now. We've been dating for months. And she's like, yo, let's go eat sushi. And I'm like, fuck sushi. I do not want sushi. I cannot stand sushi. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. A couple weeks ago, well, about a month and a half ago, I'm taking a meeting, or I'm catching up with an old friend. But I guess it's meeting, but I'm catching up with an old friend. John Dolman, who's the drummer for System of a Down. And we're hanging out here, and he's like, come on, let's go eat. We got to go eat right now. Let's go eat, because I got to get you out of here. We got to talk, blah, blah, blah. Like, we never talk. Like, we got to talk. I'm like, all right. Takes me to Nobu. I'm like, oh, my God,
You
bro.
eating sushi.
I'm eating sushi, and I'm eating, and I'm like, yeah, this shit is really good. Like, what the fuck was I bugging about?
Yeah.
Like, why was I, it was just the textures were freaking me out. Now, like, then I ate sushi with John, then I'm kicking it with Everlast, and I'm eating sushi 3 days in a row, and then I'm coming back, and I'm taking wifey to eat sushi, and she's like, oh, my God, I'm falling in love with you all over again, because now you want to eat sushi. So it's my point. It's like, you can't, because you've heard something or thought something or told something, discredit something and not experience something, right? And it's a natural human trait to go based off of someone else's experience that you don't fuck with this.
Yeah.
Right? So it's part of growing up, man. And sushi's actually really, really fucking good.
Yeah.
I love sushi.
You know what I'm saying?
I got another quick question for you, man. I haven't seen anybody ask you, but this is another. We got the cheat code with A. He was like, make sure you ask him why he cut his dreads off.
I was fucking pissed. Oh, man. I Crocheted them way too much. I dyed them way too much. My locks were like down to here
Uh-huh.
already, and I'm pretty much going like this, and locks are just they're coming out. So yeah, that's kind of why I cut them.
He was saying something about a bet, something like that.
Bet.
He says a bet that you and your wife had. Unless he's giving me false information.
Nah, it wasn't. I don't think.
Come on,
think
hey.
it was a bet.
We gonna call him right now.
That's
Nah,
that's
let me see
definitely
if she's
Ariel. He's gonna be like us. Was this a bet?
Let me see if let me see if she's up. She might be asleep, but I'm gonna call her anyway. I don't think I made a bet. Did I?
He was like, yeah, ask him because once he hit a certain number, he had to cut off his dreads.
That was a. Oh, never mind. I figured out my own answer. I'll call you back. I'm still here. Never mind. I'll explain later.
She's like, what are you?
But I told my daughter when I had 7 figures in a bank account, I'd cut it.
Uh-huh.
You got 7 figures, so you cut your dreads.
When I had 7 figures in a bank account, I'd cut it. Keyword had.
Fire.
But this was more than 7 figures to build.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just being here. Like, for the people that are just listening,
You're not
you don't
gonna
understand the
this.
magnitude
all.
of this store
There's
that
not
we're
a
sitting in
single
right
video. There's not a single
Yeah.
film crew
That can do it justice.
Yeah.
Nope.
You have to physically be in the
Correct.
store to
No,
not
I-
only see it,
No,
but
but
to
it's
feel
got a
it.
different type. It's got a different type of energy, and I felt
feel
it
it,
when I
yep.
walked in.
Exactly.
This is higher power, bro.
To come here and tomorrow and to once again
Tomorrow's
appreciate you.
gonna be the most ridiculous moment.
Yeah.
How'd
yeah.
you make that? First of all, what made you think about doing that? Right.
Soft opening.
Like doing the whole congregation of the people. Because when you think about it, you're gonna have a lot of people that everybody in that specific room is gonna be of some importance. So having them all come together and, like you said earlier, let's break bread with each other. You know what I mean? Let's make money with each other. So what was that like networking idea? Like, oh, let me just do this soft opening and then have everybody network, rather than just have it focused on you.
I've had. This is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is technically my 5th grand opening.
Mm-hmm.
I never really had a soft opening. We're open. And every single one of those grand openings, I never had enough time to dedicate to everyone that was in the room. Everybody that supported, appreciated, respected, allowed. I didn't initially anticipate that it was going to be 400 people.
Mm-hmm.
But these are 400 really cool-ass people that are worth putting in a room and, like, creating something that's, like, never been seen before. You have Grammy Award-winning artists. You have movie directors. You have sneaker influencers, other shop owners, chefs. You have all walks of life. And all of them get to the chav. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of them get to that chicken. And these are people that I want to see. So this whole building is me, my friends, and people that I respect, and people that I'm always down to make a dollar with. The Billion Flavors is me and the homies. Skin Design is me and the homies. Haircuts Don't Lie is me and the homies, right? So how do I continue to keep the money circulating within the family, within the friendship, within the whatever you want to call it? I could extend that, and I could bring in athletes, managers, like it's everything. And I'm literally telling everyone, interact and talk with everyone, because if they're in here, I trust them, and if I trust them, you should too. Mm. And 400 people were like, damn, I'm down to go. Hell yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Is it hard having so many different partnerships and working with so many different personalities?
Yeah.
How do you make it work?
You focus on the solution. You don't focus on the problems. Acknowledge the problem, focus on the solution, and keep it moving. I tell that to my staff all the time, and I've said it a million times on any content that you've seen with me.
Yeah.
Focus on the solution.
Cool. So I had a a series of questions revolving around your sneakers, just to kind of like bring it to the closing. What is the? I'm gonna ask you the series. So, what is the shoe that got you into sneaker culture?
There's really two shoes. One was the Air Max Infrared 90, the original one that my mother put on layaway forever, and when I got, they didn't fit. And two was a Bread 4. There was a kid named Raymond Lugo in my hood back in the day who he made everything look easy. Literally made it. He could hit a baseball across the street, even though he was playing with a wiffle bat and a tennis ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could shoot a three. He had a little bit of dribble. He was quick. He was nice with his hands. I watched him knock dudes twice his size out when we're like 12 years old type shit. Like, we were Section 8, so Section 8, the way that works is like pretty much when that promo is over and that lease is up, you're on to the next one because you can't afford what the new rate for rent is, right? Mm-hmm. We've all kind of been there. Mm-hmm. So I move into this neighborhood. I see this kid. He comes out with Bread 4s. I didn't even know they were Bread 4s. But I thought they were the coolest. That net on that, like, oh, bro, that was just like
and you
so.
Initially didn't fuck with Michael Jordan.
I couldn't stand Jordan. You kidding me? I'm a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
Like, yo, bro, you crushed my dreams how many times over?
Correct. Yeah.
Right? Like, so, but towards the end of his career, I respected it. Same thing with Kobe. Okay. You know, but those were the first two shoes. As far as reselling goes, what's wild is right behind my store, there's a stop sign. And that's the first place I ever stood in line for a sneaker, for the Area 72 Barclays Plaza.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What's even crazier is that in the employee parking, there's a bunch of bushes right there that when Nike used to have releases, they would make you stand in line out there. And what I didn't know is that towards the end of it, like Fear 3, Fear 4, Fear 5, and I'm standing in line, like this is when like people are getting rowdy, they're fighting, cutting in line, and I'm trying to diffuse situations and also figure out creative ways to generate revenue because I'm standing in lines, I don't even got money for the shoes, but I'm bringing PlayStations and TVs and doing PlayStation video and 2K and Madden tournaments at the line so I could pay for the shoes. And then I'm bringing barbers and then I'm bringing barbecue grills, and little did I know that 8 years ago, while I'm doing that,
now this,
literally, like not even 100 feet away.
Yeah. Which is amazing, man. Your story is amazing, bro.
Man, it's fucking beautiful, bro.
It's real life, beautiful. Like from nothing, you know. So you definitely deserve this moment. Like he said, you deserve your flowers, bro. So.
Bro, like just sitting at home, bro, and continuously just hearing you tell this story to people, bro, and like where you came from and how hard you pushed and the perseverance and what you had to go through and just.
I have a choice.
Yeah.
What other choice did I have?
But you think about it, and complacency is definitely a thing in a lot of people's lives.
It's the most annoying shit that I have to deal with day in and day out. It's the most annoying shit. I have lost more employees because of their lack of effort or like lack of motivation. I can't be around people that are not self-motivated. I can't be around people that just want to wait for someone else to create the solution for you. If you're not, like I have so much turnover, it's crazy. And people think I'm psycho, and so be it. But that's what it takes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because that's not who you are as a person, and those individuals who you
it's
hire.
It's negative energy. I can't be around negative energy.
We were explaining to certain people, like even just flying here for this, they're like, you guys aren't making no money yet. And I'm like, yeah, but it takes all of this. It takes taking the risk and doing this multiple times over and over.
When you build a building, you don't build it from the roof down.
Correct. You know?
It's a fact.
And a lot of people don't understand it, man. You know?
How many L's have you taken in the beginning of your career to be here right now for us to have this conversation, right? Mm-hmm.
I mean, are they really L's?
Lessons.
Yeah, that's a lesson.
Like,
and I don't mean L's as far as like losses, but more so lessons.
I probably still got a billion more to learn. I'm learning every day.
Yeah.
No, that's wild, man. I'm excited for the next 48 hours changes the world.
Absolutely. And just to reiterate, man, we appreciate you so much for having us here.
No, I'm honestly like truly excited and humbled that you guys are here. I think that, you know, tomorrow, make the most of it.
Yeah.
Make sure you get every little free thing you can out of Billion Flavors.
Yeah, it's a fact.
Because, you know, the way these people have been commenting on my little post with the little thing, apparently it's a little too much money. But I think it's gonna be exciting, man. I'm trying to change the standards, and you guys being here and allowing me to tell this story in the way that we did here tonight, I think is definitely the start of it. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Man,
it's a pleasure.
I just want to let you know that you probably don't know how many people you have touched or how many lives that you have changed just by being you.
That's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Honestly, bro.
Thank you for real.
Yeah.
Honestly, man. So, again, before all of us are getting fucking emotional.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah.
We'll get the fuck out of here.
Thank you. We get the fuck out of here,
bro. Yeah.
But like that, we're out.
All right, bro. Much love. So you know how there's parts of the videos that sometimes get chopped out and then they go, and then there's like an extra clip and here's a bonus. So while we were doing this whole little thing, I had 2 different deliveries of Icon walk in, but this flag that came in earlier, this flag was in the front of my store, hanging off the front of my store when I first started 7 years ago. 7 years ago, I knew that everything that's on that flag is what this needed to be, and this is where it needed to be.
That's
why I
OD.
dropped the mic and walked away.
That's OD.